Thank you so much. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. Throw this away. I'm gonna cut this away. This is for all the folks here that are familiar with golf. Yeah, it was Moses and St. Peter.
Oh.
And Jesus. They were all out on the golf course together. And Moses walked up to the tee, laid his ball down, and this hole was a 440-yard par. 440 yards with a full par. And St. Peter swung, and the ball went straight in the air like a dove's tail. 440 yards, dropped on the green and dribbled right in the pocket. And then when Moses stepped up to the tee and teed off, the ball sailed, dovetailed, little wind off to the right, back into the left, down 2 inches from the cup, and rolled slowly into the cup. And then the Lord walked up. He teed off. Wham! The ball went over into the rough, hit 12 trees, jumped off 3 bushes, down 6 valleys, across the river, over into the green, down into the cup. St. Peter walked up to the Lord and said, "Look, baby, none of them old miracles, let's play golf." Well, I guess we can get started on this new thing. I need as much cooperation as possible because I have to be on a paying job that pays tonight in the next hour and a half. So I won't be here that long because I know y'all want to eat. A lot of y'all want to eat, and some of y'all want some food. I just want to tell you about this guy who came in Jazzville a couple of nights ago. You know that way I'm working. It's not Hollywood, but it's right on the edge of Hollywood. And if anything happened, I'll be right in it. But a guy came in Jazzville the other night, and he got fresh with one of the waitresses. Of course, she looked good, and he sauntered over to her and had a cigarette, and he flicked his ashes off like one of them old-time gigolos. He said, "Hey, baby, ain't I seen you somewhere before?" She said, "Damn right, I've been there." See, that's what you have to have, an answer in your mouth at all times. Because you beautiful girls gonna get hit on. See, when I was just a young kid, my mother paid a woman to wheel me around. Really, that's a fact. And I've been pushed for money ever since. So, you know, guy was driving down Route 66, and he stopped in a little restaurant late one evening for a cup of coffee. He said, "Hey, waitress, would you bring me a cup of coffee with no cream?" And the waitress left, and she came back in about 3 minutes. She said, she looked all in the kitchen. She said, "I'm very sorry, sir, but we don't have no cream. Would you like it without milk?" Too clean? Well, back to the gutter. While I was in the same cafe, and the lady, she sat out next to me, and she's kind of old fussy old lady. She said, I noticed you got chicken salad on the menu. And the waitress said, "Yes, we do have." She said, "Is it all chicken?" The waitress said, "Well, not exactly. It's not all chicken." She said, "It's like 50-50. Old lady said, "What do you mean 50-50? She said, "Got veal in it?" The waitress said, "Yes, we have a little veal in it. That's why it's 50-50. She said, "Well, how much?" She said, "1 chicken and 1 calf." She said, "Well, never mind. Just bring me a ham sandwich." The waitress said, "With pleasure." The old lady said, "No, with mustard." Well, let's talk about a minute about drivers, men and women. Now, my wife drives like lightning. Every time she come home, she said, "Fox, I just hit a tree." Turn over this way. But I read in the paper where a fella in New York, a man in New York is run over like every half hour. Now, don't you feel sorry for him? One guy run over that many times. And in California, this is the worst state in the union. Like in California here, a pedestrian walks around like they own the street. And the drivers, they drive around like they own their cars. Don't hold it there. Just laugh like you're eating chitlins. Yeah, and if you can eat a chitlin, you got something to laugh about. Here's another thing, though. It pays to be polite when you're out in public. You know, like a guy walked up to another guy one night over here on San Pedro. This guy said, "Hey, buddy, have you seen a policeman around here anywhere?" This other guy tried to be so smart, saying, "No, I ain't seen none. Why?" The other guy said, "Are you sure you haven't seen a policeman anywhere around here?" The guy said, "No, I ain't seen no policeman." The other guy said, "Well, all right, pal, this is a stick-up. Back up again." I was down at City Hall, and you know how inquisitive old ladies get when they get old. Try to get in everybody's business. This old lady walked up to a fellow was passing down through the lobby. She says, "Pardon me, it seems though I've seen you before." She said, "What's your name?" This guy said, "My name is 999-385-675-260-M34-29222. 345. 667-832-917. She said, that's not your real name, is it? He said, "No, that's my pen name." See, you know, a bum walked up to a guy one night and said, "Hey, buddy, can you spare me a few cents for a cup of coffee?" This guy said, "Well, why don't you do something useful for a living? You need brains and more money. Brains mean more than money. So you need money more than brains, and brains more than money." The guy said, "Well, I just asked you for what I thought you had the most of." No, but brains are important. I think my son Rodney is headed to be a genius. No, he plays the violin like Yasha Heifetz, right under his chin. You know, here's the funniest thing I ever saw in my life, though, was I was down in, I think it was Roanoke or Richmond, Virginia. They had a statue of Robert E. Lee. And the committee that got together to get this statue together ran out of money. See, they were going to have Robert E. Lee sitting on a horse. And they ran out of money before they could get enough material to make a horse. So you can imagine Robert E. Lee. You know, my little boy came on today. I said, "Rod," I asked him, you know, like a dad would. I said, "Rod, what'd you learn in school today?" He said, "I learned yes, sir, and no, sir, and no, ma'am, and yes, ma'am." I said, "You did?" He said, "Uh-huh." Hey, now, here's an idea now. Like, when next Christmas come, I know a lot of you folks got in debt over the holidays by not knowing this little secret. Now, when next Christmas comes, and you need some money, borrow $10 from somebody that you know real good, but don't take but 5 of it. See, then they'll owe you 5, and you'll owe them 5, so you'll be even. I act like this because I used to be a fighter. Some people say I'm punch drunk, but I'll never forget my first fight. I asked my manager, I said, "Am I giving it to him?" He said, "Hell no, but if you keep swinging, you might give him a cold." There's an old drunken husband. He fumbled his way up the steps about 2 o'clock in the morning. This was in St. Louis.
He walked in and said, well, his wife said, what does the clock say? I said, the clock. He said, say tick-tock. The cow said, moo-moo. And the pussy said, meow, meow. And the big bear go, whoa, whoa, whoa. The two drunks walked in the bar one night. It's buddies, though. You know, like if you got a drinking buddy, you like to hang out with him. And they walk in, one drunk said, hey, partner, give me a horse's neck. And his buddy said, well, give me the other part. Ain't no need killing two horses. You know, I bought some liquor for Christmas, and I left it on the bus this morning and went to the Lost and Found. The whiskey wasn't there, but the fella that found it was. Say, somebody just come in? That's nice. Just glad to have you. Say, did I tell you about... I must have told him about the big fat lady. Big fat lady. And she went to the doctor's office. He was so big, he didn't want to tell her how big she was. He just took one of them wooden sticks out of his... What do you call them? Where did he take the wooden stick out of? Out of a jar. He says, very wonderful. He took the wooden stick out of a jar, and he stuck it in this lady's mouth, the stick. Oh, really? You know, like you can't be kidding around now. Say, open up your mouth and say, move. But, lady went to the doctor's office one time, and the doctor said, well, open your mouth and say, ah. Lady said, well, doc, I didn't come in to be examined. I come in to pay my bill. The doctor said, ah. And, you know, even a preacher can make a mistake. This morning, my preacher's text was, a fool and his money soon part. That wasn't a bad subject, but not right before the collection. Preacher stopped my neighbor this morning and said, look, Mr. Jones, you back fighting your wife, I hear. Liquor? He said, no, she licked me this time. You know, it's drag to have a wife like the one like my old lady begged me all the time. She was pestering me a lot, asking me for money. I come one night tired to death. Nothing but work all day. Work all the time. And she said nothing but money, money, money. Give me $1. Give me 75 cents. Give me 50 cents. Now, my boss asked me, said, what did she do with all that money? I said, I don't know. I ain't gave her none yet. Say a rabbit and a lion walked in the restaurant one time, and they sat themselves down at the table, and the rabbit ordered a head of lettuce. The waiter asked, how about your friend? Isn't he hungry? Rabbit said, hell, if he was hungry, you think I'd be sitting here? Then a little five-year-old boy went with his mother to see a young couple's new baby, just been born. He was laying there in the crib, small, red, wrinkled face. They stared at him a long time. And then the little boy said, so that's why she hid him under a coat. And some of you folks, you have children. Some of you folks have children, and pretty soon you're going to have them with chaperones, you know, because when you know, get a certain age, you have to send somebody out with them till they get back. And if you don't know, a chaperone is an elderly woman who accompanies young women to see that they don't indulge in any of the things that she would have indulged in if she hadn't been chaperoned when she was a young woman. And the guy's old lady said, look now, you're going to have to give up drinking or give me up. She said, remember, a bar doesn't have soft lips and warm arms. And his wife will say, yeah, they don't have no swinging doors. And neither do you. Well, I might as well begin by starting. Guy walked in the restaurant one night, sat down, waitress walked over, he said, give me 2 eggs, please, 2 eggs. He said, I don't fry them not 1 second on one side and not 2 seconds on the other side. He said, just fry them till the white is cooked, then turn them over. And not too much grease and no butter. And just a pinch of salt and very little pepper. He said, well, what you waiting for? Waitress said, well, sir, the hen's name is Patricia. That all right? You know, I thought that was pretty nothing. You know, you see me a lot of times. You see in the newspaper where I be working in joints with, you know, burlesque girls working, take off stuff. Did I ever tell you about the girls working up Strip City? You know, usually they holler to the girls, take it off, take it off. There was one girl there so ugly they hollered, leave it on, leave it on, leave it on. When I first, no, the first time I worked in a burlesque place, my mother told me, she said, Fox, now I don't like you working in no place like that because tonight you're gonna see something you shouldn't see. And I did. My father sitting in the first row. There's this fellow down in the newspaper office down there where A.B. works. He was trying to find out what part of a woman was her fracas, because he read in the Eagle where a woman had got shot in a fracas. Hey, well, listen, let's talk about the price of stuff. And stuff going up. I mean, everything you buy is going up. I bought 25-cent worth of peas and rolled both of them home. And gasoline. I bought $1 worth of gasoline day before yesterday, and the guy sprayed me behind the ear. Oh, it's high. You know, but 2 guys met each other on the street. Neither one of them could read. And neither one of them could write. One cat, he had one of those Ingersoll watches he had got lucky and got. His buddy said, what time is it? The other guy said, here it is. And the other guy said, damn if it ain't. In 1941, a guy was being examined for the draft. And they asked him, said, have you ever had any experience? He said, damn right, I shot 3 times before the war started. Here's a short story down on the west side. You know, over on the west side, eating oatmeal. Guy met his pal on Western, saw him all bandaged up and everything, arm in a sling, he was hobbling along. He said, how you get that knot on your head? He said, my dentist ran out of ether. Say, you know one thing though I've noticed, they sure ask a lot of rent here in California. You know, they sure ask for a lot of rent. My landlord asked me 5 times this month. Say, this fella got home late one night. The next morning, his wife asked him, said, what time did you get in? He said, about 11:45. She said, I heard the clock strike 3. He said, well, ain't that 11:45? See, 3 times 4 is 12. Try something else. I walked in the bar the other night. I didn't have nothing to do, just out jiving, shucking. And I walked this bar, fine little place, set up real nice, and I sat down next to a pretty girl, seemed to be by herself. And I called the bartender over. I said, "Hey, buddy, do you know how to make a peach cordial?" He said, "Yeah, get her a couple of drinks." Oh, I really got drunk. A lot of folks got drunk here for Christmas. I got on the bus Christmas Eve and a drunk was in front of me fumbling for his change. I said, "Can I help you?" He said, "Yeah, hold on this damn strap while I get my money out." I read so much stuff about the bad effects of smoking, I gave up reading. Here's something I'd like you to know. This is a vital statistic. After 30 years, the only exercise a woman has is skipping birthdays. No, really. I say, did you read in the paper in the Eagle the other day where a wife shot her husband for fun? Oh, for fun.
That's me.
Fun he was having with her sister.
Don't put him there in the judging.
And something else I'd like to mention. The only thing that I want to mention is very important. That is the government. They aren't the only ones that have a defense program. Really. A lot of girls wear panty girdles. Yeah, haven't you run into them? I don't mind the panty girdle. The leg's so tight. And you know, out here in California, you know, you see a lot of little small foreign cars. You see a lot of those. And a lady drove in the filling station out on Sunset Boulevard, and she pulled up in one of the little small, little bitty cars. And the attendant walked over. She said, "Would you give me a cup of gas and a tablespoon of oil?" He said, "Would you like me to belt in your tire?" A young couple live out there where I'm living. I won't mention it because I don't care to have too much company.
Let's hear it.
Hear what? How can we hear anything?
Where you live? They don't.
Yeah, where I live. You don't know.
You don't want them women to run over there every 5 minutes.
It was a young couple came home from their honeymoon. They had been gone 2 weeks. And my wife asked the bride, "How did you enjoy your trip, dear?" She said, "Oh, it was wonderful. I never knew a person could have so much fun without laughing." But let me tell you this.
That sounds like...
Well, I'm glad I'm winding up. Let me tell you, I was at Griffith Park. And a wino, he was walking along, he took a cigar butt out of his mouth and threw it over on the dry grass. And the policeman walked over and said, "Hey, buddy, is that yours?" Wino said, "Yeah, but go ahead, I'm through with it." Did you ever notice though what a beautiful story the highway signs tell? You know, when you're driving along the highways, they have these signs up and they make a little story. For instance, you're driving along and one sign says soft shoulders. And your mind gets to working.
Yeah.
And you drive, it's a dangerous curve.
Yeah.
And you're thinking all the time, and then 5 gals for $1. Now that's something to think about. Yeah, you see them 5 gals for $1, 1 mile ahead. 1 mile ahead. Now I'm for that. then you go about 4 or 5 miles and say, try Ethel. Now, I'm for that. But then you get back to your normal thinking when you see that sign, the big yellow and black sign that says, caution, children. Say, but you know, a lot of folks have told lies, but my uncle belonged to a liars club in St. Louis. And I think, this was the truth, and when he told it, folks didn't believe him. He had a dog once, and my uncle and aunt's house caught on fire. And they all grabbed the kids and the small valuables that they could grab and ran out the house. And the dog, he ran out with him. And then the dog thought, he barked to himself and ran back inside the house. Flames, falling staircases, windows bursting from the heat. And the dog came out, and you know what he had in his mouth? The fire insurance. Wrapped in a wet towel. And he had another dog, just a hound dog. This dog, just a hound, no pedigree. What'd you call him? Sooner. And Sooner. Yeah. No, that's what they call him. Well, he had a Sooner dog. And he taught this dog the Navy wig-wag signal. And he'd go out hunting, and he'd stick his tail straight up and sing signals. Pheasant, this way. And one day they were out there, and this dog was about 155 yards ahead of my uncle. And he stopped still, and his tail raised straight up. And Uncle watched close for the dots and the dashes. And the wig-wag, he wig-wagged. He said, I hope you have bullets, because here comes Big Brown Bear, and I'm gone. This is the truth here. No, really, it's true. A fella read in the newspaper that they had a lion out at Griffith Park that could talk. So he went home and told his wife, any good information like that. He said, baby, I read in the paper today where they have a lion out at Griffith Park that can actually talk. His wife said, oh, man, you've been drinking that Ariba again. Don't come telling me about no lion can talk. He said, honestly, it was in the papers. If you don't believe me, pick up the phone and call Griffith Park. So his wife, she picked up the phone and dialed Griffith Park, and the girl answered on the other end. She said, hello, this is Griffith Park. May I help you, please? She said, yeah, I hear you have a lion out there that can talk. Is that right? This girl on the other end said, that's right, he can talk. Chick said, well, put him on the line, let him say something. The girl out of Griffith Park said, I'm very sorry, he's on another lion. Yeah, sort of. I think the next time we record, here, we're gonna try and have some knockers, like they have in the nightclub. No, those knockers they have in the club with the ball on them. Yeah, they have them at the club where I'm working now. They knock on the table, and rather than applaud, they knock right on the table with this knocker, they call it. And we're going to try to get some here for y'all next time. And then, I noticed, too, that sometimes you can knock so hard, your ball roll off. No, I've noticed it at the club, and I've asked the people to be congenial and help other people find their balls. when they fall off, because if you don't help nobody, you ain't doing nothing. So if you're not doing anything,
Well,
hey, this is your guess. I guess you heard about the lady sheriff in Arizona had the big posse. Had the biggest posse. No kidding. Now, see, it's part of history out there. When you go through Arizona, they have like a museum where you can go in and see pictures of a posse. Now, I went in that museum and I've seen some posses in my day. But believe me, I've never seen a posse big as that in my life. Because of the holiday season, like you folks are drinking here tonight, I don't know if you've had all you want, but I know you haven't had all you need because you're still sitting up. What we need, though, because the Traffic Bureau, like you heard the reports, 370 people slaughtered on the highways from drunk driving and miscellaneous drownings, all that stuff. You have to be so careful. So I'm going to tell you folks right here who have automobiles parked outside and you drinking now, to drink up and let's get out there and get them.